My stepsister stood up at my mother's memorial dinner and announced that my stepfather had signed the bakery I built over to her. So I set down my glass, looked at her, and said, "Do you want to tell them what that actually means, or should I?" My mother started this bakery in a garage with a rented convection oven and a notebook full of handwritten recipes. When she got sick, I dropped out of my second year of culinary school and came home. I spent 4 years turning her side business into a regional catering company with 14 employees and 3 commercial kitchens. I never took a salary for the first 2 of those years. I just built. My stepfather, Gerald, had been in the picture since I was 16. He was always polite, supportive even. I trusted him enough to give him the role of operations manager when the business scaled because my mother asked me to. She wanted him to feel like he belonged to something. I did it because I loved her. My stepsister Dana had never worked a single shift, not one. She occasionally showed up to events to eat the food. Mom passed 14 months ago. At the reading of the estate, the business transferred to me in trust. Gerald stayed on as operations manager. It felt like the right thing. Continuity. Respect for the grief we were all supposedly sharing. The anniversary dinner was Dana's idea. 1 year since we lost her, she said. Let's all be together. I thought it was a gesture of love. I should have known. Halfway through the meal, Dana stood up and raised her glass. She said she had wonderful news. She said that Gerald had spent the past month working with an attorney, and that because of a technical gap in how the trust was written, he'd been able to transfer operational control of the company to her name, effective that morning. She smiled at me and said she hoped I'd be willing to stay on in some capacity. The table went quiet. I picked up my water glass, took one slow sip, set it down, then I said, "Dana, do you know what the business actually runs on?" She blinked. "The equipment? The contracts?" I shook my head. I said, "The recipes. Every product we sell, every menu we've catered, the 47 signature items that built our reputation. They're all trademarked under my mother's name. The intellectual property doesn't belong to the company. It belongs to a separate trust, my trust, the one Mom set up specifically so that no one could ever take the work out of her hands, or mine." Gerald's jaw tightened. I kept going. I said, "The company licenses those recipes from the trust for $0 a year. Standard boilerplate, except for one clause. The clause that says if operational control transfers without my written consent, the license terminates automatically and permanently. No grace period." Dana looked at Gerald. Gerald looked at the table. I pulled out my phone. I said, "I became aware of your attorney's filing 3 days ago. I've had time to prepare. I've already sent termination notices to every vendor, every venue, every client on our books. By tomorrow morning, your company, and congratulations, it is your company, that will have zero legal right to produce, sell, or market a single item on our menu. You'll have 3 commercial kitchens, 14 confused employees, and equipment you can't legally use for the thing that made us profitable." My aunt, who had worked the counter for 2 years, put her fork down very quietly. I wasn't finished. I said, "One more thing, Gerald. While I had my attorney pulling records, we noticed something. The business account has had 14 irregular withdrawals over the past 8 months, totaling just under $60,000, routed to a personal account that was used to service a second mortgage on the house you and Dana share." Gerald stood up. I didn't. I said, "I haven't decided what to do with that information yet. That's entirely up to how the next conversation goes." I folded my napkin, thanked my aunt for coming, told her I'd be in touch about a new arrangement, then I walked out. My mother built something with her hands and her handwriting and 14 years of Sunday mornings. She trusted me to protect it. I did. The new company launches next month. It's called after her middle name. Every recipe is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is who's at the table.